iNTLCT, iNTLCT, and I just jumped out the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard, for sure.
Crime pays, but not an honest dollar. Another big risk, child without a father, being broke stress.
All right, so we got the one and only iNTLCT jumping off the porch with us today. Welcome, man.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you having me, man. Appreciate you having me.
Nah, no problem, man. I appreciate you pulling up on us.
Oh, yeah,
too,
no problem. No problem. I had to.
Man, first off, how we feeling today, man?
I feel great, man. Just to be in such a legendary space, you know, like I say, with the ones that I walked and sat here before and gave great interviews. I'm just happy to be a part of it. It's really dope to me. Like, it's almost like one of those experiences. Like, it's not out of body, but it's more so like, dang, I placed myself here, so it's like it's amazing to me.
Nah, I appreciate that too,
yeah,
man.
For sure, bro.
Yeah, man. Anything else you got planned while you're here in Atlanta, man? You doing some recording, some promo, or what else you got planned? Just sightseeing or what? This
is a part of my press run, of course, but I was honestly, I was excited to come out here and try some of the food. Like,
okay.
I'm from the South, but I don't live in the South, so anytime I'm able to touch some of the soul food, it's like I want to go here, I want to go there. So that's really what I've been doing. Like, as far as tourism go, the weather not so good, so it's just like I find a food spot, find somewhere to kick it, and that's just what my days have been like.
Yeah. You found any good food yet then?
Yeah, it's this place, I think it's like Detroit owned. I met the owner last night. I think her spot was called like Southern Kitchen, Southern Fire, or something like that. I don't know, but it was real good. It was amazing. I was like, man, I probably got to come back here again just for that spot.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good.
Definitely check out Busy Bees too, man.
Busy Bee, I think I heard of that. I heard of that.
Yeah, they got really good soul food, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
absolutely,
cool. Yeah, soul food ain't too much I can touch like with that Southern kick and twist to it. So like I got to get it when I'm in Atlanta or anytime I'm in the South, but specifically, yeah, because I know it's good. Good reviews for sure.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So, man, let's go ahead and dive into your story then, man. So, born and raised in Montgomery, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, born and raised, yeah. As far as, I mean, that is what it is. I was born and raised in Montgomery. I don't really know too much or too less to speak about it. It's the South, so it's not any too different from anywhere else. I mean, for me, I feel like Montgomery is unique because of what happened there as far as like being the birthplace of the civil rights. And all my lyricism and my whole like story of rap is just based off that like time frame. Like I'm still seeing it from those lenses, you know? So it's like wow that I could kind of place myself in those shoes to the present day. So I think it's pretty unique that I'm a Montgomery, Alabama artist and all I speak about is like activism and civil rights. Not necessarily civil rights, but like inequality, you know, like stuff like structural inequality and structural racism. Like, man, I'm still seeing the lenses from 1960s and 70s, and I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's wild to see that, you know, those same things are going on today, man.
Yeah.
What, 50 years later, 60 years later.
The present day, it's 2020, we're in 2024 now, but it's like, it's crazy how much I can relate my lyrics and my rap, my life really to that time frame, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And how would you describe your experience growing up in Montgomery then?
Well, when I was growing up there, when as advanced as it is now, it's kind of like, didn't reach this peak, but it was kind of like country living for me. Like I remember being like a youth, we would go outside, you know, like I had that rare childhood where we would go outside, ride our bikes, play basketball, sports, pretty much all day. Like it was never like that YouTube phase, that this stuff the kids doing. Like,
social media really.
None of that,
stuff.
It never existed. And if it did, or if it was like that, I'm from Alabama, like country Alabama. Montgomery wasn't a built-up city when I was living there, so we still just went outside and played. Like I seen Montgomery advance from the West Coast. I didn't live in that, so when I come back home, it's like, oh snap, we got one of these, we got one of that. It looked like this now, this building is here, so it's like. I barely even know the place myself, but I grew up real country, man. Like I lived in the city. Montgomery is the capital city, but the style I lived in, I lived in country living. Like my grandparents, my uncle, they all from like Greenville and stuff like that.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, we kind of just brought that. She kind of just brought that country living to the city, and that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
Like she cooking every Sunday, like none of that like fast. But I probably ain't eat too much fast food growing up. Like I said, we just played outside. We were actually kids. Like. I probably didn't get a phone till I was like 17, bro.
No, that's real. Yeah, I didn't have my first cell phone until after high school.
You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I was privileged enough to live a childhood, to be honest.
Absolutely, man. And what was your family dynamic like at home? Did you have mom and dad? Did you have siblings?
Well, to honestly answer that question, my mom, she had 6 kids, but it was a time frame where it was just us in the house, like as far as her 6 kids, and then we had moved with my grandparents. Well, maybe in like, I had to be like maybe 3rd or 4th grade. So I don't want to say like I had two sides of my childhood, but I remember like vividly, like growing up in a 1-parent household, and then it became like my grandma's house. So, the dynamics, I'm 5 of 6 of her kids, and my dad also had 5 as well. So I really have a whole lot of brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest on one side, I'm the baby boy on the other, which is
wow, the best of both worlds.
Yeah, the best of both worlds. So in that household, you know, a lot of my older brothers and sisters, they like, it's an age gap, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't really too much me like hanging out with them all the time. I kind of just, like I say, went outside and just found friends in the neighborhood and just played sports. On my dad's side, he wasn't, you know, he was present, but you know, life happens. So as I was growing up, I think he from like Troy, Union Springs, one of them. I want to say Union Springs. I think that's like where the foundation was set, but his life was lived in Troy. So as I was growing up in Montgomery, he was still young, growing up in Troy and Union Springs and all those surrounding areas. So I got a brother here, I got a sister there, you know what I'm saying? So we finally came together last year, but it was a point in time where I didn't even know like that other side of my family like that.
Oh, really?
I grew up in Montgomery, yeah.
True. Who initiated that, connecting again with your pops then? Was it him? Was it you? Was it both of y'all? Or
organically, you know, just growing up and becoming my own like adult, you kind of don't want to not have no relationship with your parents if it's accessible, you know what I'm saying? So I jumped through whatever hurdle was necessary to make sure that I knew who my father, and it's not that I never knew who he was, but I want to know the adult version of, you know, basically myself, that's my dad, so it's me too, and we look just alike, so it's like, I gotta create this relationship, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pivotal, like, it means the world to me, literally.
Yeah.
And that's what it's been since, and that probably happened when I was maybe like in my 20s or whatnot. I kind of just was like, yeah, that's something I need to like put some effort into, because I don't want that to be lost, and I don't want to be inquisitive about life, and I don't want to like wonder about certain things. So like, perfect person to show me about what life is, my father. You know
for real. And I'm sure he was appreciative of that too.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. We got probably the closest bond out of me and any of my family. Me and my dad, we like 1-on-1 to be honest. I swear if he walked in his room, he'd look just like, you wouldn't know the difference if you seen him. I swear to God.
No, that's super dope, man.
For sure.
When would you say you jumped off the porch? How old were you at the time?
We were outside, man. Like I said, I got older brothers and cousins and stuff like that. So man, I kind of just been hanging out, my whole life, honestly. And I remember having memories and being like an older child and wanting to do what they do. I see them smoking and drinking. I'm 8, 9 years old. I think I'm one of them, you know what I'm saying? And I'm already kind of tall too, so I felt like I was fitting in. So maybe, I wouldn't necessarily say jump off the porch like as far as like getting in trouble and stuff like that, but I've been outside for a real long time. Like, just been a child. Like I said, I grew up in that era, so it was just like, we outside, like I'm with them, you know what I'm saying? Point blank period.
Yeah. And did you end up going to college after school, or?
I tried college. My first instance was being in the service. I did the service from 13 to 18. I was 20 when I joined and 25 when I got out, and then I did a year in college or whatnot, but it wasn't for me. Like, school just wasn't. I never been like, I'm well versed, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got sense, you know, I love to gain knowledge and I like to read even to this day, but the school structure was never something that I could just sit down and just and be comfortable in. Like, I felt like it was always more for me to learn. I felt like sitting in classrooms was like limited learning. I wanted to know more. So I've always been inquisitive as a child. So I'm always like, okay, so we got tests and stuff like that. I'm making 100 A's on stuff that I barely put effort into. Now I'm just disruptive in the classroom. Like, I'm talking out loud, I want to hang with the friends or whatnot. So school was never for me. And like, when I actually tried it as an adult going to college, it was like, yeah. What's the quicker route? Like, but it's got to go through. And I was like, yeah, I did like a year, and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. This ain't for me, yeah.
So what had motivated you to join the Navy then when you were 20?
I really just wanted to live. I mean, not live, but really just wanted to move out of Montgomery. I seen no outlets. Like, I tried to play sports, but I guess it was something about structure to where I wouldn't even go to practice making the teams and stuff like that. So it's like, I just needed a way to leave Montgomery and to see more of the world, explore, and I felt like the Navy was that outlet, that avenue. So when I joined, I was like, okay, well, this is gonna be what it is. And I knew I wasn't gonna go in there and just be like no super captain and try to rank up and do all, I knew I wasn't gonna do that, but I needed to leave Montgomery at the time, so that's what I did, that's what I chose.
So you were there more for the life experiences than the travel.
Yeah. I just need to get out of Montgomery, man. Montgomery was turning into what it is now as I was growing up.
Okay,
Yeah.
So how would you describe your experience in the, in the Navy, and where all were you stationed at?
Mostly San Diego.
Okay.
My experience in the Navy was, depending on how you want to look at it, blessed for sure. I was always gone, like 3-4 deployments. I never was really on land. It was times where I could count the amount of time I was at home. I remember, like out of the 12 months, I was probably gone 9 or 10. So I was always either in this country, on this continent, doing, just military stuff in general. But the experience was great. I appreciate myself for being so brave as a youth to decide that, like, hey man, let's make a change in your life, and then that just expanded everything else, how I think, how I perceive, my habits, my tendencies, the things I like to do, the type of people that I surround myself with. Just my whole life changed when I left.
Yeah, definitely opened up your eyes. I'm sure,
yeah, for sure. I seen things that of course I ain't gonna say it on camera, but I seen enough. So once I seen enough, it was like, all right, man, okay, cool. I could go be an adult on my own now, and that's what I've been doing since. And that's kind of like where the music came from. I just got to writing about life.
Okay.
Which was life before the military, in the military, because my scope of life, being gone for 9 and 10 months, I'm only seeing the highlights of everybody else's life. So like birthdays, unfortunately funerals, things happening in people's lives, just whatever life is lived, I've seen that from so far. So that's the only perspective that I had on life at home. So that's where different perspective came from as well. It's like, I know, but my perspective is totally different because I've been seeing, I'm in Dubai, I'm in Guam, I'm in Hawaii, but I'm getting calls, oh, your partner done got locked up. He done got, shot. Just little stuff like that. And it's like, dang, like, I'm at the bar in Hawaii. I'm got the coconut with the umbrella, and it's like, it's like I almost had like 2 scopes of life. So I just wrote about it, and that's what it became. And somehow it came into like beats and music, and now I'm in it, like, it's crazy.
Wow. So that's how you got your start while you were in the military then?
Like,
or were you rapping beforehand?
On the tail end, I always been, like I say, as a child, I was kind of always smart, so I was always writing. Like, I just used to write about random things, regardless of what it was. I used to write narratives, poems, books, plots, movie plays, whatever it was to like curate a story. But I matured in that skill, and it became me writing about life, and that's what it became.
Okay. And your grandfather, he was a jazz musician.
Yeah, that guy, man.
That guy.
That guy, he's his own character. Yeah, Iron the Boy Sam.
Yeah.
It's crazy how life was like kind of just 360 itself, because like I say, like you say, my grandfather did music, and I always knew he was a jazz musician, but I never knew like to what magnitude until I got older. So yeah, Iron the Boy Sam, man, famous musician out of New Orleans, had clubs out there, did TV shows, commercials, like all global around the world. And here I am, just his random grandson in Montgomery. It's like, dang, like once I realized who he was, I'm like, dang, granddad, like this is, because, having conversation with your elders, it's like, they ain't finna talk about that. They just, grandparent, grandson, granddaughter, grandma, that type of relationship. So when you kind of do your research and you talk to your relatives, and my father, for one, and he getting to telling me like, oh, I've done this, he's done this, he's done that, been here, been there. And then I'm seeing proof of the festivals that he's done, articles, like contracts, all that type of stuff that dealt with music. Like, man, this guy was one of those in his era, maybe like 60, 70. So it's like, it's crazy how life is just 360 itself. And that also showed me what lineage is. Like, my father didn't do music, but it skipped me. And now, me being the oldest grandchild on that side of the family, I'm a musician. And then I got a younger cousin who really maybe a year younger than me. She a DJ in Montgomery, her name DJ Cakes. Okay. And it's like, it's crazy, like, I wouldn't expect life to go like that, because I never seen it from that scope. I just seen it from like what I was living. But I guess like I say, lineage and DNA, it was in me the whole time. I just had to kind of just explore myself and find out who I was to like expose my own self to that art, and that's what music is now, I guess.
So when did you record your first song? Was it like when you came home then?
I actually recorded my first song in California. Okay. Actual record. I've tried like you know, the phone with the lyrics and stuff like that. And I would send that to my friends, and they would give me good reviews. They'd be like, yeah, that sounds good. I don't know if they were lying to me or what, but that was enough for me to say, hey, I'm finna find me a studio and actually record this stuff. So maybe like 2018, I recorded a song called Making Progress. And the song had to be like 3-4 minutes of me just rapping, like no hook, no nothing. Just saying what I wrote. And now it sounds bad, but when I wrote it, I thought it was the hottest, hottest music in the world. So I took that one song and those 4 pages that I literally wrote on like the back of a, it was like this weird paperwork, like the paperwork you get like damn near like when you about to get out, there's so many papers and stuff like that. So I'm writing on that. Like I knew something was coming from my writing because I couldn't stop. Like, and that was my avenue of kind of like clearing my thoughts. So I used to write like pages and pages and pages of just, sometimes it rhymes, sometimes it didn't. Like I say, the song's like 4 minutes, I still got it on my phone. The song like maybe 4 minutes long, but it's called Making Progress. And since that day, I've been making progress literally. So that came like kind of like the outlook on what my music career has been.
Did you drop that first song?
I dropped a version of it.
Okay.
Now it's called Knowledge 2, but it was originally called Making Progress. I wrote 2 songs of it. One was the first song, and the second was me, okay, now I know how to rap. Well, now I think I know how to rap now, so I'm gonna do it this way, which was better sound. I shot a video for it now. Okay. Knowledge 2 is on the YouTube. Yeah, it should be on the channel. Yeah.
And you dropped your first album in 2018 too, right?
Yeah, different perspective. Yeah, different perspective. That originally that album maybe had like 14 or 15 songs, but I kind of minimized it, just like minimized it. Damn, I can't say that. Minimized it, just like trying to like figure out like, okay, I don't want to bore nobody to death, so let me just put like maybe 10 or 11 tracks on here. 10 or 11 of the tracks that I feel like will like curate an image of the artist that I'm trying to become, and that's what it became, different perspective. And it's crazy that I hear that so much in my life now, different perspective. I'm like, dang, did I just put that into the world like that for it to just keep coming to me like that? But that's always what it's been. People talk to me and like, man, you got like a whole different perspective on life. And I'm like, I kind of do, you know what I'm saying? And that's what the album became. But that was my first project, 2018.
And how was the feedback when you put that out?
Great, which was surprising because it's like, man, like, you know how it's iffy with music. Like of course, us as artists, we think we're like better than everybody else. Everybody loves our music, you know, but I'm as an artist, I'm still like, I was iffy. Like I was like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it, especially like I'm from Montgomery, so you know, the atmosphere of music is like trap music, drill, you know, certain artists make certain music, and that's what like the fans like kind of like gravitate towards. So me, I'm speaking the complete opposite of all this. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe they won't feel it or whatnot, but that didn't stop me. I was still being brave or whatnot. So when I dropped it, people were like, man, that's hard, man. It's way different from what we hear. Man, I like your lyricism, man. You talking about that real stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I appreciate that. And like I say, that good feedback, that good energy, it just kept me going. It keep me going to this day. Yeah.
And who would you name like as your musical influences?
Influences? It's kind of sided depending on like, I say in the South, I listened to a lot of T.I. growing up. T.I. was one of my favorite artists. Jeez, of course, he had his wave. I listened to like a lot of the Boosie, like the old Boosie, like when you're telling life stories and stuff like that. Anybody from Montgomery just showing me that they was able to do it, especially like Dope B. He changed everything about the whole Montgomery perspective. Like when you heard Dope B, you was like, oh my God, like he's way different. They call him the Big of the South. He was that. Yep. So Dope B definitely is an influence. All the local artists of Montgomery, it's 100 names, so I don't want to offend nobody by not saying them. So all of y'all doing y'all thing. And it's like as the years progress, I would like, when I started exploring music on my own, it became like more so like lyrical artists like Nas, even Jadakiss. Up top, like in New York, I was listening to Nas, you got Jada, a little Wu-Tang because they was different, you know what I'm saying? But Wu-Tang and Outkast, they kind of like the same to me. Like it's just, they in the North, they in the South. But those are two, like, I put them on the same scope, even though however they view it, to me, just the style of being different. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they got their own sound, and they from New York. They sound nothing like these guys, especially Outkast. Nothing like any other artists that were coming out in the South. So I like uniqueness as well. Living on the West Coast, you're not gonna go nowhere without hearing Nipsey. So Nipsey became one of my influences just because of his aura on the whole West Coast. Everybody loved. I remember being like in San Diego, I would hear him so much, and I just no clue. You know, I'm wet by the ears. I don't know any of these guys. You know what I'm saying? But Nipsey was one that you didn't know him, you gonna know him by tomorrow. Like he had that much of an influence on the West Coast. And now it's like on the West Coast, K-Dot, and I don't want to forget people like The Game. You know, the classic artists, you know, like Snoop and all them. But I don't really have to say that because I'm from the South. But their influence is still I felt around because like that sounded like E40. Like I say, Snoop, and just that whole coast, they got their own sound, but you're not gonna go nowhere on the West Coast and not hear it, you know what I'm saying? And the Atlanta artists, just because we so close to them, like, they gonna always have that effect on us, like being from the South.
What do you think about Kendrick doing the Super Bowl?
Oh, that's pretty dope, man. I'm not in the controversial with it. I know it's a whole spiel about between him and Wayne, but I hate that they did that. Like, whatever media source created, like, oh, it should have been Wayne, they should have never said nothing like that, because I don't feel like that's what Kendrick did it for. Kendrick understands, like, the influence of music and how big Super Bowl is to, like, performing at halftime. So it was never, like, intended to be a knock on Wayne, in my opinion. But unfortunately, like I say, we got some outlets and sources that kind of just stir in the pot like that. But I'm all for it. Like, I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan, so anything he doing is huge to me, especially when it's the Super Bowl. But I do feel like maybe Wayne and the Hot Boys and a couple of other artists from New Orleans, Master P and No Limit, I think they should have some type of, I don't know how they could input it, but let them perform too, because it is New Orleans. We can't just, like having it in Atlanta and not doing Future. Like, don't do it like that. Like, I feel like he deserves it if anybody, especially Wayne, because that's a global artist for sure. Oh, yeah. But I understand why they put K-Dot there, because he's like the hottest artist right now, so it's understood.
Yeah. I'm just happy that rap is getting represented.
Finally, yeah. They say we had
up until 3 years ago, a rapper had never done the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, they say we had a
now here we are arguing about which rapper it should be.
They say we've been having bad years of music, man. So now that we finally had some good years, now it's controversial about who doing what and who doing it. But I'm happy for K-Dot, man. Do it for the West Coast. I live there, so I'm cool with it.
How would you compare the West Coast to Alabama, man? Like living there?
Let's see. The food, the South got the best food. No comparison. Depending on how you like the weather. The weather in California, it's always nice, but you're gonna mix too. So the South got all 4 seasons. The cost of living is a lot cheaper down south, so it has its benefits. What I would say I would like better is the West Coast. It's a lot more chill out there. Like, ain't too much going on unless you go somewhere like LA or like San Francisco, one of them big cities. But everywhere else, it's kind of just like laid back, you know what I'm saying? Cool vibes in the South. And it's crazy that it's kind of like the opposite, because you would think that being in the South, it wouldn't move so fast. But Atlanta is a fast city. I'm like,
absolutely.
Damn, like, what's going on here? Like, but my comparison is, I don't want to like say one is better than the other, but I love the vibes in the South. I come back maybe 2 or 3 times a year to see my family and, music, wherever music take me. But I like being down south. Like, it's pretty cool. I just can't live here because it just ain't for me to live.
Kind of outgrew it at this point, right?
Yeah, outgrown it. Yeah, outgrown it as an adult. Yeah.
So going back to the music, do you remember performing your first show?
Yeah, man, I was nervous as hell.
I think that's understandable, man.
I was so nervous. And that's another thing, just being from the South. Like, I was performing in front of a whole bunch of people from the West Coast. So I had to introduce myself as somebody from the South, talking about what I like to talk about. And hoping that they'll feel it. And great responses, man. Those guys, they treated me, they gave me some shit I ain't even expect. Like, when I got off that stage, down there, the whole crowd came and shook my hand. We was somebody from Montgomery there, which was wild, older couple. She came and took a picture with me, made me feel like a celebrity. I'm like, whoa, I didn't think it would become this, because I say I was nervous, like mad nervous. But I got up there, man, did my set, maybe for like 20 minutes, man. Those guys just, man, like, you would think they was fans, and I was like, dang, I ain't know it was like this. You know what I'm saying? Cause now I'm iffy about this. You know, I was iffy about music at the time. Like it's like, what's it gonna become? So once I'm seeing like, oh snap, like this is what it is. Like I just motivate, if anything. But great response for sure.
Yeah, no, that's super dope right there.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Anytime I get good responses, that just let me know that I'm in the right direction. Like I ain't just, you know, being as a musician, you kind of just, you in your thoughts a lot. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of, I don't want to say nervous, but you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know if that person gonna like this song, and then sometimes it ain't even the song. It's just that person's mood at the time, or I don't want to hear that you know how people have moods. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know what was gonna become, but. Man, once I seen them people rocking with my music, I was like, okay, yeah. I left. What's the spot called? Los Globos. It was on Sunset
Okay.
Boulevard. But I left there, and I was like, yeah. I rocked that place. Yeah, I took a picture of the building, like, yeah, this is my spot, but in a respectful way.
Yeah. A few years ago, you put out this song and video called Black Summer, man. Talk about the inspiration for that one.
Man, Black Summer came about. I was randomly riding my bike just downtown. I was in Fresno. I used to live in Fresno too. That's a little bit like in between, like going up towards the Bay Area, but not like all the way up there. So I was living in Fresno, riding my bike, just casually listening to my music. But they were having like a, I don't want to say a rally, and it wasn't a protest, but this was around the time George Floyd had got killed. So people, you know, you can't say protesting, and you know, they got their signs and the whole street was blocked off. So apparently this was organized already when I pulled up on it. People with, you know, signs, t-shirts, just music, just a whole like get together or whatnot. And it wasn't, the reason why I said it wasn't a protest because it didn't seem like it was protest. Like I didn't see like anger or anything like that. More so like celebratory, like okay, you know what I'm saying? Something happened and we just finna just stand with George Floyd. So I'm riding my bike down randomly. So I pull up, a whole bunch of people just out, I mean like maybe hundreds on the street, right in front of where the convention center is. That's exactly where I shot the video at too. What was crazy was when I got there, I peeped the scene just looking around and stuff like that, and lyrics started popping in my head. So I already know what this means, I'm gonna have to write. So I went to the top of the convention center and I was standing literally over everybody during the protest or whatnot, you know, like a whole get together. And my lyrics just started coming in my head. Like I just started writing it. So my song, you know, I probably maybe wrote like maybe 8 or 10 bars or whatnot. And then I, you know, kind of just, I left the spot. So I left and went home and wrote the rest of the song. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and shoot the video at this same spot because this whole song is about what I seen here. And that's what I did. And that's how Black Summer became Black Summer.
Oh, wow.
Like that happened like right then, like straight up.
Some real life inspiration right there.
Real life, right on the spot. And it was just, I knew it. You know, sometimes you can just feel it. And I just felt like, okay, that's what I was supposed to be doing right then.
Yeah. So fast forward to today, we got a new project in the works, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so talk about the, you know, the inspiration for this one, what type of vibes we should expect and all that too, man.
The iNTLCT project, man, this is me just honing my own sound, like finally feeling like this is who I am as an artist. I'm not seeking anything. I'm not seeking gratification. I don't need nobody. No, like we just talked about the performance. I've gotten it. I've gotten that great feedback. So now it's like, okay, well, I've curated myself as an artist. iNTLCT. So that's me identifying with my own music in my own way, in my own sound, with my own lyricism, my own life story. So I put it all together in like maybe, I want to say it's 11 tracks. Forgive me for not knowing. The project come out on the 24th, September 24th. It's just me becoming my own. Like, this is who I am as an artist, and I'm totally stamping that. Like, it's no iffiness, no nervousness, no any questions about it. Like, this is how I'm gonna sound, and this is where it's not like a restart, but this is where it's about to go up for sure. For sure.
How long have you been working on this project?
Let's honestly answer that question. The iNTLCT project, okay, let's see. The oldest song was probably recorded in 2020, what year is it, 24? The oldest song is maybe recorded in 2022, but that's only one song, no.
Okay.
Only one song. So we could say, after every project, I'm still like, I don't leave the studio. I'm always writing. So I dropped Between the Lines in 2022, and that was like the tail end of 2022. But I still had, like I said, you know, artists, we writing all day. So I still had lyrics and songs wrote from 2022. So we could say 2 years, 2.5 years I've been writing.
Okay. Yeah.
Like for real, like always in the studio, only being in the studio, only shooting visuals, only on press runs, only doing that to this project, like to this day, yeah.
Now, do you got a personal favorite song on there that you're really excited for the fans to hear?
Yeah. So the interview will come out like in congruence with the project. So I could expose some of it because like, I ain't talking too early. I like the What's on Your Mind track. That's a really dope one for me. OJ's Nightmare Part 2. I actually wrote in the OJ's Nightmare Part 1 that everybody told me that they like, you know. So OJ's Nightmare Part 2. And it ain't but like 11 songs, so I'm gonna give you one more. What's my track called? Cause I name them so differently from when I record them. I'm trying to see what it's called now. I got the OJ's Nightmare, the What's on Your Mind, and I got the Walking Home. Walking Home, that's a pretty cool one. I like that one. But for sure, I think the What's on Your Mind probably gonna have like the biggest response to it, just because that's me really being iNTLCT at that point. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, he's his own artist for sure.
Is that the one you already shot a video for? I saw you were shooting one.
Nah, that's called Page 100.
Okay.
That's coming out with the project as well. Well, that will be out with the project as well. That's called, I think that's like track number 4 or 5. That's just like, that track is me just, I'm kind of outlining the project in a sense, but I'm not necessarily giving it all away. I'm just, the whole point of that song is like me writing a letter to myself, like, hey, look at your growth. And that's just me putting it in lyrics. Yeah. But that's coming out too.
Okay. And how would you describe your growth as an artist, you know, from 2018 up until today then?
To 2018 to 24, my lyrics have, you know, I used to like kind of be radical. Like I used to always like kind of like I was angry at the system. Like I used to just be wanting to expose any and everything that I would read and talk about. But now it's like, okay, well, this system is in place. I understand that. Okay, so I see how it affects my life, but it's ways that you can maneuver around it, and it's ways that you can kind of, you know, it's ways, not I want to say maneuver, but it's ways that you can live through it without being so like radical, like how I used to be. I had to be so angry because I seen something happen. Like I just gotta understand sometimes things are how they are just because that's what life is supposed to be. And this is what this album is. Like this is how this system that I talk about all the time has affected me. But I didn't let it like throw me in the dirt. I'm prospering from what I've seen, so I'm writing about it in the most intricate way possible that I know to do it. And becoming an artist is my way of just exposing it for what it is and for how it has affected my life.
Yeah. And do you write all your raps or do you punch in as well?
It depends. Like I have my fun times in the studio. If I'm punching in, I'm just in there having fun. Like I have my times where I'm writing for days. Like I'm up all night, all day. Only thing on my mind is whatever it is that I need to clear myself from. See, writing has always been like cleansing for me because like I said, I grew up and I've always been like a creative or whatnot. So I've always just wrote in general. So writing is just something that even if I wasn't rapping, I'd still be writing. So it's just what it is. Like I'm a writer. Like yeah. I'm a writer and a musician too. I'm an author, honestly. It's a song on there called The Author, and it's me putting a story together about the 60s.
Okay.
Literally. Yeah. Like it's crazy.
You read any good books lately?
Yeah, I got a list of books. This year I read again The Ways of a Superior Man. I read As a Man Think Of. I read Think and Grow Rich. That book changed my life. I think I'm sitting right here because I read that book, to be honest. Think and Grow Rich. My partner put me on a book called The Outliners. I've been reading a book on marketing called Contagious. But I already said The Ways of a Superior Man. The Signs of Success, that pretty much changed my life. It taught me how to it's like a 3-part book. It's the Science of Well-Being, the Science of Money, and the Science of Success. And it's basically just like how to like fixate yourself on success. And those type of books kind of like changed my life. I also been reading like novels and stuff like that too, because feeding yourself so much information at times, it's kind of like, it's like learning in a sense. And like, man, I don't want to just keep learning every day. Let me read something that's gonna take my mind away from all of that, but still staying active in my brain. So I've been reading novels and stuff like that too. And I also been writing one too.
You're writing a novel?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
writing a novel. Writing a novel.
Yeah. How far along are you right now?
Chapter 2.
Okay. So this is fresh.
Chapter 2.
I won't ask you too much about it.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna too much say that. It's just gonna come out.
Yeah.
You got a book now, yeah. Yeah.
What's some advice you would share to the youth coming up right now?
To the youth, I would tell them to, of course, read, eat healthy, read, eat healthy, staying active, and manifesting, because manifestation is very powerful, man. Like, I never seen myself as an artist. Like, that's probably the last thing I would have said if somebody would ask me, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Ball player, a teacher, an author, something like that. So manifesting is powerful, because visualizing who you want to become and taking steps on becoming that person, it's like, dang, once you realize that, now I kind of look around like, I remember thinking about this 2-3 years ago, or man, this was on my mind since I was like 20 or whatnot. And then to see yourself in that space, it empowers you, because you realize, okay, well, if I can manifest this, I could think bigger than this too. So manifestation is powerful. I would definitely tell kids, whatever age, it don't even matter if you're 3 or 4, if you think you want to be an astronaut or an actor, live like that at whatever age you are, for sure.
No, that's wise words right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead and plug your social media so everyone know where to follow you at.
My Instagram is _iNTLCT, so that's _ITSINTLCT. And that's pretty much the only platform I use as far as, I got a Facebook, but I got like maybe 30 friends on there, mom, dad, cousins. I wouldn't direct nobody to my Facebook, but mostly just Instagram. YouTube is Intellect Music, iNTLCT Music. So that's basically what the 2 platforms you'll find me upon.
Okay.
And if you search Intellect, I got a couple other interviews with a couple platforms like Buzz Music and LA Voyage. They was reaching out to me a few times. They just like, they see, you doing music now, let's put your story out there. So if you search my user and I guess Google or whatnot, it'll pop up, which I think is pretty cool. Cause it's like, dang, people can like Google my rap name.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you spelt it such a unique way. You're probably the only one that spelt it that way, so that was smart in itself.
It's a reason. I spelled intellect the correct way, INTELLECT, but when I dropped different perspectives, the person that this was a while ago, I didn't know too much about music, but the person who uploaded my music to every platform, it started getting cross-streamed. So my benefits were going to the other intellect, and it was like, no, this ain't about to happen. And I had no idea till my friends were like, we looked up intellect, but it was another person on there as you. I'm like, nah. So I had to get to the bottom of that. I probably got through those litigations maybe like 2-3 years ago, because there was at one point in time I wouldn't even put out a song because my name and that other intellect name was cross-streaming. So it's like, nah, I need to fix this. So that's why I had to take the E's out my name. Like, okay, I'm still intellect, but I don't want to get cross-streamed no more, because I need all those.
No, absolutely, man.
For sure.
No, that's smart right there. Yeah. Do you want to shout anyone out before you wrap it up here, bro?
I don't really. No. Shout out to my supporters, anybody who's calling themselves a fan, anybody who listens, anybody who streams, anybody who's interested. Like, as far as like an individual shout out, I don't really have, like, if you in my circle, you know you in my circle. There ain't no point in me saying, hey, shout out, recipe. I hate speaking that type of stuff, because it gets too personal for others. Like, I have great energy behind whoever I would call out, but it's like, you ain't take my name. Like, nah, we ain't even finna do that. Like, it's cool. So if you rock with me like how I rock with you, I ain't no point in me shouting you out. Like, if I shouted you, I probably don't know you. Yeah.
Crime pays, but not an honest dollar. Another big risk, child without a father.